What's up? サンライズダナン会社です。今日はベトナムの不動産についてダナン不動産コンサルティング会社 MVP ベトナム代表マイクさんにお話をお伺いしていこうと思います。サンライズダナン Thank you for sharing the time today.
It's always a pleasure to be here with Sunrise Danang and yourself. How are you?
Okay, really good. Thank you. So recently we received so many messages about if foreigners can buy the property in Vietnam or not.
Yeah, actually the good news is from 2015, foreigners are legally allowed to buy, own, rent and sell the property with pretty much similar rights as a local Vietnamese person. So everything will be safe and transparent.
Now we all understand foreigners can buy the property in Vietnam. Are there any reasons?
Well, the list of reasons is long, but I would choose couple of them. The most notably, I would say, is the demographic of Vietnam.
Demographic.
Which is nearly 100 million people population. Out of more than half, it's under 35 years old. So that means it's a very strong demand from domestic local buyers. Another thing that will add on the value of property and the Vietnamese economy in the future is the bilateral trade agreements between Vietnam and the UK. Vietnam and the European Union.
Yes.
Both of them coming into effect this year already. And Trans-Pacific Trade Agreement.
TPP.
TPP, yeah, exactly. And that includes about 14% of the world economy. And Vietnam is part of it. So that's a very important milestone for Vietnamese economy.
How is the COVID affecting Vietnamese economy?
In the previous year, we seen still a positive GDP growth and consistent foreign direct investment into the Vietnamese economy, which is mainly related to industrial real estate and factories moving from China and other countries to Vietnam. So Vietnam will benefit on the long term from the COVID situation.
Now I'm going to ask a question about how to buy the property in Vietnam. What is the first step for people who want to buy the property in Vietnam?
The first step should be your reason. Why do you want to buy the property?
Why?
Is it because you want to live there? Is it because you want to rent it and have a revenue generating option? Or you are interested in the quick price rising and the profit on a short run? Or you're looking at the long-term investment?
What types of property foreigners can buy in Vietnam?
That's a very good question because based on the 2015 real estate law, foreign ownership it's allowed in residential apartment complexes, condotel. In the residential apartment complex, foreign ownership quota is limited at 30% of the total units. So let's say out of 1,000 apartments in one project, foreigners can own 300 apartments. In a landed residential area, such as a villa, resort, foreigners can own up to 10% of the total units.
Can foreigners own the land in Vietnam?
No, actually, foreigners are not legally allowed to own land or houses outside residential projects. Actually, even Vietnamese citizens, they do not have freehold ownership of the land. And also mentioning that even in residential apartment projects or housing projects, the foreign ownership will be limited to 50 years and then it can be renewed after 50 years.
Oh, so 50 years are rendering and after 50 years, like totally 100 years?
Well, it can be 150 years or 200 years because every 50 years it will be renewed.
Can foreigners own the property in Vietnam without living here?
Yeah, sure. Being a resident in the country is not a legal requirement.
Okay.
You just need to enter the country in order to finalize your buying agreement.
Okay.
You can combine that with a nice holiday on the beach. So you only need a visa in your passport in order to own property.
But what kind of visa?
A tourist visa is fine. A business visa, as long as it's in your passport.
Do we need a bank account in Vietnam?
No, the law doesn't require opening a bank account here, but if you want to transfer the rental income or after you sell your property and transfer the profits back to your country, then we really recommend having a Vietnamese bank account from the beginning when you buy the property. It's the safest and the easiest option that you should.
Do we need to pay for one time when we buy the property here?
If you buy a property that's already been constructed, then you will have to pay the full amount to the owner of the apartment. However, if you buy a newly constructed property in a development, then the payment schedule will be decided between the buyer and the developer. So a lot of developers, they offer flexibility in terms of installments and payment schedule. So you don't need to pay the full amount in one time. However, if you do, you will receive some discount.
One time.
One time.
Okay. Can they sell the properties to anyone?
Yes, advantage of having a 100% foreign ownership is that you can sell to another foreign buyer, or you can sell it to a local Vietnamese buyer. Also worth to mention that the prices on the long run will stay higher for a foreign ownership apartment because the supply will be limited if the project is good. So that's an advantage. Also worth mentioning here is the selling property tax. It's counted as 2% of the total value of apartment when you transfer the ownership, and an additional 0.5% on the transfer fee. Also, after you pay the transfer tax, you should keep all the documents because that will be very important when you want to transfer the money back to your home country. So after you sell the property, you keep the documents of paying the 2.5% tax. The money will be transferred into your Vietnamese bank account, from which you can easily transfer the money back to another country. That is also valid for when you receive rental income. The rental income will be charged as 5% personal income tax plus 5% VAT. So keep all the receipts for the tax payment, and then that will be much easier to transfer the money outside the country. As long as everything is clear, then there is no limitation on transferring money outside the country.
It sounds really complicated for me. Can your company support?
Sure, yeah. MVP Vietnam is providing services from sourcing the right property for your investment strategy, finding tenants and managing the property, as well as finding new buyers when you decide to sell the property. And we can support with the paperwork and the tax declaration, as well as opening bank account and transferring the money outside. So don't worry about that.
Okay, that sounds really better.
Thank you.
San Raise Danang. Thank you for sharing the time today, Mike-san.
Sure, it's always a pleasure, and I really hope I can answer some of your questions. If you need any further clarifications or you're still in two minds and you want to know more, don't hesitate to contact us. And actually, I had a good time today. It was good.
Me too.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
ありがとう。
今回の動画で分からなかった点や、もしさらに詳しい不動産情報を知りたい方は、サンライズダナンのインスタグラムにて DM でお待ちしております。もしくは、マイクさん MVP ベトナム不動産のウェブサイトリンクを貼らせていただきますので、そちらの方をご確認ください。Thank you, マイクさん。
ありがとう。
ダビエー。
バイバイ。
サンライズダナン。このチャンネルでは日本とベトナムの架け橋となるべく、ベトナム現地ダナンよりベトナムの最新情報、ダナン移住観光お役立ち情報を配信しております。この動画が少しでも参考になったなと思ったらいいねボタン、そしてチャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。こんな撮影してほしいなどございましたら YouTube のコメント欄、もしくは私たちが運営しています Instagram の DM にて直接質問の方をお待ちしております。それではまた皆さん次回の動画でお会いしましょう。ダンビエッ